Hello, clipsvh once again, and today we're playing a new game. No more old videos. So we're gonna do a Touhou fan game today. It's called Enchanting Swordplay Reverie. According to the Touhou wiki, it's also called Yuyuko, Kengeki, Musou, which is supposed to mean Youyou's swordplay dream. I'm not sure about that. I don't speak Japanese or read Japanese, so I'll have to go by the wiki's word. It's also commonly known as Dat Youmu game and Dat Youmu hack and slash. We play as Youmu, who is from PCB, Perfect Cherry Blossom. And, what else? Well, we got our controls. You got this nice little config file, and you can change your controls and your options there. So this is clearly English patched. So yeah, with that said, I think there's nothing else to go over for now, so we're gonna start a new game. The story is about, we'll get to the story, actually. I'll let Youmu explain it. Okay, so that's the story as it is. Our quest is basically to beat Reimu. That's the whole point of the game, is play as Youmu, beat Reimu. We can jump, it is a platformer, and we can attack, and we can string attacks together and form a combo, and as we progress through the game, the combo can become a little bit longer and more complex. That doesn't really happen until some of the later levels, though. We also get our spell card, which is this button. We also get these little skills down here, which we can change. We can switch it up. Get 3 different skills. We get this kind of dash attack, which we can also use in the air, but that's not going to be too useful in most cases. We get this, which kind of shoots out a little beam, and we get this one, which kind of acts like a shield and deflects certain bullets. For now, our primary enemies are going to be fairies, and we can actually swing our sword, and that'll actually get rid of some bullets on screen, and thankfully this fairy's letting me show that off. So we got these pots around, and you want to get them because they'll unlock health. That's the green bar. The yellow bar is for our spell card. It'll deplete once we use it, and it'll gradually go up over time, with hits and other things that will happen as we progress through the level. Well, spell cards are basically things we should best save for boss fights and such, but I just felt like showing it off right there. Now, you don't always want to go the right way in this game. There are little things to find. Exploration kind of pays off. I'm gonna go back just to explore, actually, because there are certain pots that you can find. Some have more health in them than others, but there are certain yellow pots you want to find in the level that will give you more of these yellow orbs down here by your HUD. And what they'll do is that once you collect 3 of them, you get a new orb. That is, you collect 3 yellow pots and you get 1 new skill orb, and what that does is it gives you basically more energy or mana, however you want to think of it, to use your skills like that, because you can see it kind of gets depleted. Different skills use different amount of the skill bar orbs. Most they use is 2 though, so but you still want to be careful because it is kind of easy to just completely deplete the whole thing if you're not careful. So for now, we're just fighting fairies. Eventually, we're going to start running into frogs and other sorts of enemies. Even mushrooms, actually, are enemies in this game. That's not till... Actually, that's not much later, but that's still later. You see the combo counter kind of stays up there for a while. So it's really easy to string, like, really long combos on all of the enemies in the area, and combo carries over to these pots. So pretty much anything you can hit counts towards that combo. And this is one of those yellow pots I was talking about. There's 3 in every level, with the exception of the bonus level, which is like this game's version of an extra stage. That one, I believe, should have 6, so you can get 2 skill orbs in that one. So currently, we're just going to be running around. We're going to try and get to the Hakare Shrine so we can fight Reimu. And here's some of those frogs. One of them, rather. And we're also going to kill every fairy in sight. Although that's not such a bad thing, because, you know, they'll respawn later. If you know much about Touhou fairies, the thing is, in Touhou, fairies don't really die. They're embodiments of nature. So when they die, they just end up coming back to life somewhere else. Like, it's not really a big deal to them. Alright, so that's enough Touhou lore for now. I think it's time for our first little boss fight. This is a mid-boss fight. This is Shirno. She's the first real kind of boss we fight in the game. You want to use this to kind of deflect her ice ball that she throws at you, but I kind of screwed that one up. Now the thing about bosses is that they kind of have like a little counter system going on, where if you try to combo off of them, you're not going to get that infinite combo. They have a counter to basically knock you down. If you're not careful, they can really do a real number on you. But, you know, that said, the only time they're really going to hurt you bad is, you know, if you're not careful. So you kind of have to let them. Shirno's pattern is relatively simple. She'll spam her bullets, and then she'll throw her ice ball. She'll do that spin, usually only when you're close to her, but I guess she just kind of felt like using it. Then she also has that attack. And there she goes. So now Youmu has a lead on Reimu, and, you know, nice of Shirno to leave this ice bridge for us to cross this little river. You can fall in the water, you fall in the water, you kinda die. And dying isn't really much consequence, you kinda just respawn. The worst thing that happens is you lose a little bit of your score up there. Which, if you're not really playing for score, doesn't really matter at all, actually. Now I'm gonna take down some enemies, some fairies. There's sure to be some pots around here, so we're gonna break some of those. Alright, we get one more of those and we get a new skill orb. You see Mion, fan nickname for Youmu's ghost half, kind of following us. It doesn't really do much, but it does do something nice in certain environments, and I'm going to point that out later when we actually get to that, but for now it doesn't really do anything of really keen interest, so just felt like it could use a little bit of pointing out. Getting hit, of course, kind of breaks your combo, so you kind of SOL if that happens. So if we jump down here, that would just bring us back down to where we fought Cirno, so we don't want to go that way. There's no real benefit to jumping while you're walking, I just kind of like to do it. So I'm going to go through each of these little different split paths, because like I said, there's a benefit to actually exploring, and you get some pots and you get some yellow pots. Alright, that's a checkpoint. That's a little platforming area, but we're going to get to that in a bit. Let me just take down this fairy first. Break that pot. No real need to, though, but... Now, I am playing this with a gamepad, so I generally, in sections like this, I kind of switch to the D-pad. I feel like it's a lot easier to do sections like that with the D-pad, especially since they're mostly linear. There aren't a whole lot of sections that are going to go diagonal. There is one that comes up where you kind of have to do diagonal jumps, but it's not too much of a hassle if you're careful. But most of the platforming sections you can manage with just the D-pad. I honestly think it's a lot easier that way. You can, of course, play this game with a mouse and keyboard, too. But I prefer, you know, like platformers and fighters and such with a controller, so I'm playing with a controller. Eventually, later in the game, these enemies are going to get a lot tougher. But for now, we could just, you know, hack and slash through them like they're nothing. Which is honestly pretty fun, so it's all good. Break some pots and restore some of that health we lost. I like these little sound effects every time you get hit. Like these kind of stock punch sound effects. Like, yeah, I find it amusing. So you can see we're kind of on Cirno's trail. You can see little bits of ice all around. Yeah, it's still the same stock kind of smack sound effect even when we get hit by Danmaku. Luckily the damage that little fairies do isn't terrible. It's the bosses that'll kind of end you if you're not careful and if you don't take the time to figure out the patterns. Naturally, it's not terribly hard to regain some of that health because there's, you know, there are pots all over the place. Right, this is that section I was talking about. It's got... oh, another fairy I left behind. Another one too, huh? It's not terrible. And here's our third yellow pop for the level. And see, we get another skill orb. And that'll give us just more energy to use some of our special kind of techniques. Now, moving around on these lily pads isn't so bad. It's going backwards like I was before that's really the worst part. It's really easy to kind of just fall right into the water many times if you don't really know where you're going. Luckily, if you do, it kind of just restarts you at the beginning where you kind of just first start jumping on them, so it's not so bad. I think that frog is not supposed to be there. You also notice that the camera the camera angle kind of changes a little bit as we progress through the level. Alright, now we're gonna go... This should be the first boss. Alright, so, like Cherno and pretty much every boss in this game, the frog will only ruin you if you kind of are not careful. And he also has certain moves, certain counters, that'll just kind of ruin your day. So we're just going to use a spell card on him. Thing. So he's got a couple moves. He'll squirt water at you. He'll jump on you. You don't want to get caught in that shockwave like I did earlier. That'll just really take you out. If you stay too close to him and attacking him, he'll just kind of kick you. And he also shoots his tongue out at you, and he does many things that'll just ruin you. You don't want to... like that. You just don't want to be in the way. And then that'll happen. When you die, you take a hit to your score, and you'll just start the boss fight over again. I thought I timed that jump alright, but I guess the game disagrees. He just barely missed that one. Now, the thing about her spell card is that she will just kind of... Alright, that just wasn't fair. She will just kind of charge in the direction that she's facing when you cast it, but you can change that direction. You want to be careful with that if that happens, because you can just end up completely missing the thing. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. A little out of practice. I haven't played the game in a little bit. You kind of use that little shield bit. It'll give you a little bit of invincibility frames if you time it right. If you don't time it right, it can end up just being completely useless, though. So you want to be on the ball with that. Like that. That's not very good. This probably won't kill him, but it should do enough damage that we're pretty damn close. Oh, come on! What? What? Oh. Okay, that's, Alright, that's a bug I haven't encountered before. Alright, that's a bug I've never seen before. I've never had that happen before. Anyway, you know what? I'm just gonna go back and I'll show what that should look like. For the time being, we're just gonna go back and see what that should look like. Okay, so now that we're back, my best guess as to why that happened is probably because he got to low enough health and he was pretty much dead. But he also happened to get that last hit on us. So that might be what caused the game to kind of bug out and think, oh, well, you know, the fight's over and Youmu didn't die. But anyway, here's how it should have gone down. I like how it seems she's kind of talking to the player. I also like how she was completely ready to just vivisect that giant frog. Anyway, for the time being, that's all we got for now. See you all next time.